Here we have our first prototype of our Dark Age or Migration Era axe, obviously also known as Early Middle Ages. So the cool thing with our axes is we've got our core through head design. So the core continues through the haft, takes a bend, and then actually goes all the way through the beard of the axe. So what that means is, like a good historical axe user, you can use the beard of the axe to hook shields, move them out of the way, hook weapons, and parry and control them. So that's one of the most tactically useful factors of an axe in a battle context. Until now, almost all LARP manufacturers' axes, when you try to do that, will tear. There's just simply too much force going into the foam for it to last very long in doing that. Some other manufacturers have done different things to try to deal with that. Sometimes having a secondary core that's attached to the main core, or applying some Kevlar through the beard. Those have middling success. Sometimes one of the problems is lots and lots of weight with the extra core. So ours is actually just a single core that goes all the way through, and that's actually producing an excellently strong and robust solution to that problem. So with our axe hafts, we've cast it off an actual leather wrap. And the wonderful thing, like our katana or our other ones, you can see that the detail is actually so strong and it feels in the hand like the material that it was cast from, even though now it's made of rubber, which is great. So obviously that gives you a nice comfortable grip. It's worth saying that this is a 65 centimetre example of the hand axe, whereas the one you'll be able to get through Possible or on our shop in the future will be 85 centimetres, so an extra 20 on that. This is quite historical in terms of size for a battle axe, a hand axe. However, most LARPs use an offhand size of 85 centimetres, and when you haven't got steel on the end of the axe, you haven't got the same weight problems to move around, so an 85 centimetre example will work just fine.
Peterson type L?
And the design we've gone for this one is close to a Peterson type L design, slightly different back of the axe head, but at the end of the day, lots and lots of Dark Age axes and Migration Era axes have a very similar shape, but it's probably most close to the Peterson type L. We have actually hooked the beard slightly more. The Peterson type L is mostly straight at the base, but obviously if you're going to be using this for hooking, which is what we designed it for, you're going to want a little bit more of a hook there. But other than that, it's just a gorgeous, brutal kind of axe. We've gone for a finish that's a little bit more rough. Looks like it's been on a boat for a few months, as they would be. Obviously iron rather than steel back in those days, so you wouldn't expect it to be in as nice condition as shiny Tala. So we're also doing another design called a Hungarian war axe, which is probably our least historical design that we've done so far. I'm still inspired by history though. And the reason why we've chosen to call it a war axe is because that's actually not a historical term. So things like this axe, which we're calling a hand axe because it's a single-handed axe, could also be called a battle axe. Obviously battle axe is a historical term meaning an axe used for battle. What we're going to call battle axes in the future are axes that were designed for use in war. The Dark Age and Early Middle Age Migration Era type axes were often still good wood axes as tools, as opposed to being specifically designed for use in battle and war. So we're going to use the term battle axe for ones that are designed specifically for warfare. And the reason why we're using war axe for the Hungarian design, which we'll have a picture of here, is essentially because it's not a historical term and it's not a historical axe. So the design is based on a 14th and 15th century kind of Hungarian battle axe that has a nice, strong, beautifully curved beard and a nice big heavy hammer on the back. So obviously armour was coming in, you want to be able to just deliver some percussive force at times when the edge isn't going to cut, which is a really cool weapon. I love them. But when you've got LARP, you don't have to deal with the weight of the steel. So with that design, we just made a much more extreme beard and an even bigger hammer because we could. So we called it a war axe. If we're going to make anything in the two-handed axe size range, we're going to call them great axes. Again, not really a historical term. If there is a historical basis, such as a Dane axe, we'll use the appropriate term. So obviously, if and most likely when we make the Dane axe, we'll call it a Dane axe. For the Hungarian, we're calling it a war axe or a great axe if it's a two-handed size.